Okay, so it's 3:32. And 3:32 is 23 backwards. Is 23 is a number also that sticks out to mealtime. And 323, 323, 322. I get 23 a lot in the number patterns I see. And it always gives me the feeling that things are right. There's like some numbers I'll look at and they'll give me the feeling like, it's not in alignment. And then other times it will give me the feelings like, everything's right. So, and I have a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about. So, one of the things, okay, let me get my tea. I just went and got a third cup. I did not want to wake up this morning, but the dogs did. So at 2:30, and two of them I've already eaten. And Stella always just is like, she would just keep me going all morning. She just wants another thing, wants another thing. I don't even know. But anyway, so I got another cup of tea. Because usually I just have two before I start, sometimes three. And everything feels so weird. Oh my god, things feel so weird. And yesterday I was making this garage home sweet home, and I did a bunch of stuff like organizing, stacking stuff, cleaning, sweeping. I hung up my shower curtain art. So, and the elephant I feel has a message to me of prosperity, and I feel like he's on the move, and he is bringing in prosperity. There's another word too. It was like prosperity that was coming to me. But anyways, that is when I had gone to the thrift store that one day and I got those shower curtains, and it was like back by the tapestries. I was like, oh my gosh, these are shower curtains. But I was like, well, they look like tapestries. So, and then I saw the show when I was walking through my mom's thing, because sometimes she watches HGTV or whatever, Decorators. And this one guy was talking about shower curtains being the art thing, and how they framed them. I was like, oh, look at there. You can go buy art for $3 at the thrift store. So, anyways, but they've been in a box this whole time. I haven't gotten them out at all. And so when I brought the trunk in, I decided to hang this one up above the trunk. And then I like that. Then I got out the other one, hung it behind the mirror, which my mom was like, oh my God, it looks so good. It looks so good. And then, but I didn't hang up the elephant. Now that I got him out, because I think one thing is when people are not in the place where they want to be, that they're resistant. So they, like, I'm not going to put anything, I'm not making this I'm not staying here. I'm not fixing it up. I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? Instead of making it home sweet home, which that to me is kind of like that Mary Poppins thing. So instead of doing that, then they are resistant to the energy, which creates resistance. One thing, I thought this was so interesting because like I said, like when I got out the elephant and everything, and I just hung them up below a while ago, like a few minutes ago. And I just used some tape and taped them because the other one I taped over there and it worked. Well, this morning it was kind of hanging, but I just was like, well, I'll just push the tape back down. And so I hung that one with tape. And this one has a wall, so it has a tack in it. But this one I had to tape it to the thing too. And so I just got it out this morning and was hanging it. And that was what was going through my mind, is some people's resistance to creating their own space where they are and finding gratitude, and instead being resistant and angry or whatever. And when the elephant came out, then I was like, oh, because where you're going gets closer. The less you resist, the closer it becomes. And so, like, just because I fix this up, it doesn't mean like, oh, well, now I'm going to be here for the next 2 years or something. To me, it's like fixing it up is probably the next thing is you're going somewhere else. And so, all of a sudden I just saw my old house in a different way when I just said that. Sometimes that the stuff just, I don't know, it's like this trippy kind of thing sometimes. Like you, I've been having this so much lately. Like you think of something and all of a sudden it just like the floor gives way to it and you see it more. I can see they're poisonous all the motherfucking time. I can see that more. And I had the epiphany yesterday. Oh, that's why they go for the young bloods, because if they go for us, we're a fucking, we're sick. We have no nutrition. We have no minerals. What are they going to get from us? I doubt that they, whatever they're doing with the, the other corpses, I don't think it's consumption. So, but those other ones, the healthy stuff, then I think that that's, what keeps these critters alive. These little vamps, whatever the fuck they are. So, anyways, the so the way I see it is, you start making it home sweet home, then that is an energy that is going to shift you towards where you want to go, is how I would say, if you were talking about energetically wise. And so I was thinking about that yesterday, because I changed the dog yard. I went out and moved that to get them more grass, and I think they'll have a little more shade there too, so we'll see. Because before they just had the part in front of in front of the cars, like just rock, dry, dusty, stinky, man. Once they just peed there a zillion times, it's like, oh God, it stinks. And so I made a move on that, changed that. Instead of going out this way, I made it go down this way. And then I moved my car over, which opens up the whole thing over there for the FedEx guy and the UPS guy, because they get freaked out because there's too much stuff up here. And because FedEx guy was telling me. So anyways, I got that more situated. In here, I moved a bunch of stuff around and swept and cleaned and organized. I mean, I'm still in a garage with a lot of stuff, but I don't know. There's like little spots that it's like, I don't know. It's like cozy. It's a cozy little spot. Like I have it fixed up. And then I was like, it's weird. I've just been thinking about this lately, because it's weird how some of us will go into a place and just fix it up. Doesn't matter. We'll just fix it up. And then other people won't do anything, and they'll even sometimes overreact in their anger and make something worse, so so anyways, yesterday when I was fixing it all, and I was like, man, when I go and take my stuff, it's gonna seem so empty in here. It's not like I filled it up, but there's something different when you put, there's an energy that you bring. It's just like, Mary Poppins going in and everything looks a certain way. And then when she leaves, it just goes. And so it was like bringing in this certain energy of, I don't know, creating your space is, it's a lot of good energy. But anyways, so creating the space, and then for me to go, and then I was like, man, it's gonna be so empty in here. What was that? It's gonna be like to my mom when she comes down, and everything seems so empty all of a sudden, and that was like this total expansion in my mind. Was like, oh. So when people begin to hoard or fill in their space with things, it's because they can't deal with the empty space. Because I was like, when I saw the spaces being so empty feeling, not that it would be empty, because all her stuff would still be here, and that's the majority of the room. But when the little stuff, sparkles, the little things, when all of a sudden they're gone, it's like those things, like they filled our sight, and then it's gone. There's an emptiness. And when somebody has a loss, that the empty space makes them uncomfortable because it's too empty, it's too vast, it's too open. And so they start filling it, and filling their space gives them comfort. It makes them feel cozy. It's the same thing as in micro macro, how I said, when people feel they need to protect themselves, they'll gain weight in order to insulate themselves from other people's energy. And it's not like they think of it. It's not like they sit there and go like, oh, you hurt my feelings, I'm going to go gain some weight so you can't hurt my feelings. No, it is what happens because their automatic response is to go stuff the pain, go fill themselves up, go comfort eat, that kind of stuff. And uh, uh, yeah, and that's another one too, is when you don't follow through on your boundaries and you get mad at yourself. A lot of people will eat that pain too. They'll try and stuff it back in, like, get in there, don't be that way, you bitch. They'll like, beat themselves down for caring about, like, for standing up for themselves. Instead, they'll just beat themselves down, like, how dare you? God, you're a rotten piece of shit. It's sad, really. But it's programmed, and you can break it. And so you have to, be aware of it and then go towards it to try and dismantle it. So, but you can. Any of the things, any of the programs, you can break them. You're not trapped in a program. Like they don't want to tell you. They want to trap people with diagnoses and stuff. And people do. Like they succumb to it. Like, I have a diagnosis. So, and I have another and another and another. I've got several. I identify as my diagnoses. Oh my God. Well, okay, so anyways, but filling their space gives them an insulation where it gives them a barrier energetically, because when we start really realizing our energies, and then when we pick up on some of the people's energies that make you uncomfortable, well, it's up to you to protect yourself. You don't have to eat to do it, because that ends up imprisoning you, making you feel worse about yourself. So everything you choose to go and do worse will get worse, because the universe is trying to show you you're going in the wrong direction. And oh my God, is there a lot of people going in the wrong direction right now? Oh, jeez, man. I can't. Sometimes it's mind-boggling, the evil that we've been residing around as it's all coming to the surface. It's like, what in the holy fire? How can people be so evil? But I think it's years, it's eons of pain and suffering. And I don't know, man. Some of these people, are they human? Are they the same kind of souls as us? I don't know, man. Are they certain souls that just come in this realm and they give the counterbalance to evil? But I know we come in and play roles. I know we come in and we're not always the good guy, but some of these people, it's just like, what the fuck, man? So there's my first video that I saw this morning, as I've seen, I think, 3 or 5 videos on TikTok. And so the first one was a grandma and her ex-son-in-law. So me and one of my son-in-laws. Oh God, it's so sick. Yeah, had access to a 1-year-old, and they thought, I guess live streaming stuff. Like, I know on TikTok, whenever you run across a live, people are always getting these stupid ass little things. Like, oh, you gave me a cowboy hat. Man, thanks. Oh, I got a mustache. Oh, I got all this weird shit. It must be ka-chings in some kind of account. But there's a lot of shit with TikTok that they've been getting revealed, is that they're substandard on the paying you. So that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get all your money. They have a lot of hang-ups. Sometimes, there we go. There we go. Well, now you guys get to enjoy. I gave him horse paste yesterday. Jesus Christ, man. I don't even know. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. I swear to God. This is... Oh, God. Just shake it off. Shake it off. It's going to take a few minutes to clean it up. I don't know. We'll see if he's about to start eating it. Because the other day he puked and I went to try and get it. And I thought he was going to bite me. Just like a long time ago. It smells horrible. He's got to have something going on in his stomach. And what would be his stress? It can't be anxiety. And somebody said, we'll give him less food. I've been giving him less food. Ugh. Smells sour. He's got to, I'm just going to do more horse paste. But see, he doesn't even want it. Okay, give me a minute. I mean, it kind of sucks, but let's just see what we can do for a sec. Because it's horrible. Hold on. What I'm going to do is turn on the light. I don't think I have any bags. I'm going to use paper towels and see if I can clean. God, this sucks. Hold on. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ almighty. What in the hell with this shit? Disgusted. So gross. Sometimes I swear you can try and figure out what the hell is going on, and it is not the easiest road, man. Sometimes it's like, what in the fuck? Why? Why does this keep happening? And I'm not gonna go to the fucking vet and get $2,000 in tests so they can tell me some fucking shit. Probably. Who knows? Who fucking knows, man? I don't know. He's got a fucking puking disorder or something. Maybe he needs to be on... I don't know. He goes poop normal. I mean, I have no idea. Okay. I'll turn the light off. Yesterday too. So he's back on the... And when he starts with the puking thing, it's just like every day. I swear to God, it's every meal. And some of the times it's like, the meal's been in there like 12 hours and it's still coming out. Oh, like gross. It smells really acidic. I'm gonna just try the horse paste again. And whatever's going on with me, like, fuck, man. I don't know. I tried the bentonite clay. And that hasn't, maybe I'll have more today or something. The patch, that didn't do it. And you know something weird? I don't know if I just got a bunch of package of shitty patches or something, but they're not staying on me. And I keep feeling like, well, if my body keeps pushing them off, I must not need that. Because before it wasn't, but then I don't know. Maybe I just got some shitty patches. Because I'm always looking at the messages of the universe, and that's what makes people think I'm so weird. One of the things. There's lots of things. So neither of those things work. But then I was like, Well, maybe it's not like a toxin in me currently. Maybe it's just triggered the whatever this response system inside my body that is causing all this weird pains. Fuck, man. It's weird how much everything fucking hurts. And yesterday I was outside for a while and I lived. They were like, man, well, we all lived, I guess, because they were making like yesterday's solar flashes were, that's it. We're wiped out. And don't go outside and all that stuff while I was outside. But then all afternoon, all evening, I felt bugs crawling all over me. So I don't know. I swear to God, they're spraying or something is falling out of the sky that is, you can't see it, but you can feel little things biting you. So I don't know. There's a guy who was showing a video of vultures, and all these vultures go, and he said these aren't real birds, and every night they show up here and they plug in. I don't know, we're all getting a little paranoid. But there is a thing about the birds. They're not, some of them are drones. It could be all those vultures are drones. And there's some vultures across the street over here that go and sit in somebody's tree. But I don't see them all the time. But they say that this guy was saying the vultures are drones. And that bourgeoisie thing, that was all about the birds were surveilling us, that they're not real. I think some birds are real, but they would, but they would definitely use fake ones in with real ones. But they could do the same thing with bugs, everything. I mean, they're making these little nanobots that are tiny. So, anyways, whatever they're putting on us, I swear to God. And even my mom yesterday, she was like, "Man, I keep getting bit." It's like I am constantly getting bit, and there's nothing. And then also, there is lots of these little fucking natty bugs, but they don't bite. They just bump into you all the time and go by your eyes and stuff. They're annoying as fuck. Hold on. Okay, let me see where I was back for the puking. Okay, so today's Friday. It's almost payday. Can't wait to get out and go to the store. Oh, I heard somebody else yesterday, last evening, talking about the Elon thing. And they see the same thing as me. They were like, oh, what's going on here is this is a way to, just like this, he explained it different, but it was the same thing I said. So, yeah, to me, that's confirmation. I'm telling you, this whole thing, it's a show. It's a show to try, and they're always trying to lasso us in to teaching us, to getting us to expand our minds, to understand, but it's got to be through all this drama, and they've got to make Donald the enemy. And then as soon as he's someone else, then they're like, oh, you're on our team now. But there's going to be some shifts. It's going to be a wild ride for different people. It's not going to be, I mean, it depends on where you're at and how you see things, how the ride's going to affect you. Because to me, it's just like you're just watching. It's like, it seemed like there was somebody who was saying, none of this stuff bothers you? None of it? And I was like, no, it's just a show. This is just showing. Oh, yesterday too. Man, people are showing. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't finish about that. Because people just keep exposing so much of who they are at their core. They don't realize it. I would assume they don't realize it. Okay, so on the grandma and the ex-son-in-law and the 1-year-old saga, well, they decided to live stream an act that starts with an R and ends with an E and has 2 letters in between. You could spell it like ape and then add an R. You know what I'm talking about? So they decided to do that, live stream it to make money, I guess. And so anyways, they're busted now. But don't you think everybody who's watching should be busted too? Like, this stuff can't go if there's nobody buying. So fucking warped. They wouldn't be making money off of it if there wasn't a bunch of fucking weirdos, sickos that watch that shit. Fucking be calling 911 on these motherfuckers. But the other one, which reminded me of, jeez. Okay, let me see. Elon and Donald. It's a big fucking show. Everything is to try and get us to wake up. Everything is going to go in a positive direction, but it's essentially like that same thing as what I was talking about. Are you in this space of what's going on? Are you resisting it? See, if you're resistant in this space, you're dragging. And it's like kind of, essentially like what I was talking about in the beginning, where I said you gotta let go. You can't hold on to shit. It's gonna hurt. That is it playing out. It's this holding on to things, and it's gonna hurt. And so it is like you're being drugged. And so all the people who are resistant, it's going to hurt them more and more and more. The less resistance that you put up in the universe right now, the more you go with the flow, the more everything's going to just flow. It's just going to be like everything's fine, you know? And yeah, you're going to look crazy to some people because there's a lot of people in crisis. And if you're not in a crisis, then you're not, what's wrong with you? If you don't care about this, you don't care about that. And I do care about some of the stuff. Like, it's super sad. Like, and the warped people coming to the surface. Like, what in the holy hell? The darkness with some of these people. Like, that guy's still on the run that did his little girls in. And more talking about that mom. And the only thing is just some of these big sensationalized cases are just that. But also at this time, in this stage of our development, in this awakening, that also is a catalyst. It's also, it draws us in and gets us to talk about things and in turn, and make shifts in our, because everything is this connecting to your morals, your integrity. And so everything is connecting to the side of you that's been in the dark. And but some people still pulled on their morals and stuff, but the world was immoral. But some people closed theirs off because, like, I don't know, like, it's weird when it goes that extreme. I mean, it's one thing when you get mad at your boyfriend and you do him in, and there's plenty of that. But it's a whole nother thing when you go and create a whole crime against a baby. Like, what? And fuck, man. These people. And that's just to make money now. And who knows? Like, how is this their first go? Do they do this often? Do they babysit? Like, I don't know what the story is going to be. It's warped. There's people, this warped side of themselves, and it's going to be so exposing. Oh, yeah, the other thing was with these podcast guys. Oh, my God. I don't know. I mean, what's that one's name? He was kind of wacky fucking guy with all the fucking hair. He was kind of a dick. And people go on his show. Because back in the day, it was Larry King and who was that other guy? Because he was more pervy. And he had the black chick sidekick girl. But he was, I don't know. I don't like him. He was a dick, I thought. Hold on. Howard something. Anyways, I thought it was a dick. But so we've had these people who have been rude to people for laughs, and stuff, you know. And on his show, Howard Stern, that's what it is. On his show, um, I don't know if he just sat and made fun of people. I think he probably did. I think he's probably some comedian, dark kind of humor or something. Like, I think it's funny to be mean. But whatever, his show, his podcast thing from way, way back. I think it used to be like radio shows, but now it's like they're everywhere. So like on here, it's so there's a lot more things. You don't have to go to the radio anymore to hear them. And I don't remember when they went on. I guess they, because I think they were on where you could see them too. But anyways, that's how I look at these guys, as more podcasters. And so then, because these ones, so there's tons of podcasters, you know, tons. And so, and in all different regions or realms or realities, they're all, as there's a lot that are very, it depends on the perspective of what you're seeing happen, and how you see, how you perceive, how you understand what you think is going on, and everything. So you have a lot of people talking about a lot of different things, a lot of people seeing things differently, and I'm just like, you know, I feel like I'm looking at it in the right way. Some of y'all are kind of stuck. So anyways, but these guys, they I think there's 6 of them or something, so like a whole panel of them, and they just start they make fun of people. And yesterday when I was up there, it was like they were, I don't know, because she's a liberal or something, so they can just roast her and then attack her for what she looks like. And that has been so common through this, you know, of people being really mean like that. And this is on TV. And they, so they were making fun of her, playing certain music things. Like, it's just hilarious. Talking about her weight, and then talking about whale hunter. They were just being so fucking rude. And I was like, that is low vibration. I don't care how you try and spin it. Being divisive and hateful is low vibration. So you can think you're so awake, you can think you are on the right side, you think you're got Jesus in your corner, whatever the fuck. I'm telling you, if you are just sitting there being hateful towards people and making fun of people and making it into a big joke and calling them a whale and all that stuff, check yourself, man. It shows like you got a dickhead side in you. You need to bring it to the surface and look at why, because that is that's not the vibration we're going towards. That to me is the vibration that's splitting apart. And I think some of the people doing that kind of stuff, like I'm not the only person who'd be seeing it at this point. There'd be other people, and so either, you know, people will be called out on their stuff by people, or they'll start to see themselves more in that hateful side. They're going to have to look at themselves more. But see, there's a lot of people out there that people would consider successful right now. Oh, they've got it going on. Like, just like that spiritual guy who's got all these followers and stuff. And then he decides to take a third because God told him. All these people are going to be like publicly, it's a public thing. And that has to do with whatever their lessons are, whatever. So, but there will be opportunities to see themselves in a bigger way like that, and to change. Not just because someone's making fun of somebody doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to split and go with that dark energy. In the Harvest, in the Book of One, Ross said that the harvest is, you just have to be like 51% good. Like, you don't have to be great. You just got to be leaning a little bit in the good over the bad. And so, yeah, it depends on, you know, way more factors. But yeah, if you are being like that and hateful like that, just start looking at yourself. And when you're watching a bunch of people who are behaving like that and it seems okay, then, but I think people are going to keep feeling like, I don't know, that doesn't feel right. What if that was me they were making fun of? Empathy, compassion, Yeah, start thinking about it. Like, that's a person just like you. They have feelings. It's like, that's not cool, especially right now on people's weight. Like, weight is, people have been burdened with it. They've attacked people's health. People are dragging around all of this extra weight and don't know what to do, don't know what to do with themselves, don't, in their health crisis. So it's not, it's like artificial. People aren't, uh, people are programmed kind of to gain weight or something. And so, we're going to go through a big thing where there's going to be a lot of weight loss, but it's not going to be like this crazy freaking drug surgery, all that stuff. It's going to be healthy. It's going to be like people are going to start eating healthy. And then, I keep getting scratched like this, whatever. I don't remember what it was. It seems like a dog scratch on my cheek, but I don't know. It could have been my fucking razor fingernails. Now, as they're getting thicker again, I gotta stay on this biotin. That's just all there is to it. But anyways, I cut myself months and months ago. I don't remember, but my daughter was even saying something about it the other day. It's like made a like a scar or something. But to me, so many women want to cover up the imperfections of their skin. And it's like, why? Why do you need to be perfect? Why do you have to have perfect skin? Why do you have to have it look like a not natural, like a doll or something? It's like, because I see it like you get a wood table, and it's just so perfect. And then, because I had this happen, so I went and spent all this money and got this wood table and these chairs. I don't know, it seems like it was like $1,000 or something. And I think it was when I was first moving out from my husband. And but it's somewhere around there. So it was when I was working as a nurse, and so I got this table, and it was all perfect. And then something happens and starts getting messed up. And at first, you start like, God damn it, the table's getting ruined. And that's where the information that came to me is like, but that's what gives it its character. It's like every little dent and mark and blemish and stuff is what gives it its uniqueness. And so it shows the weather, it shows the weathered life it's lived, it shows a story. And so and I was thinking, it's kind of like that with our faces too, but we want to cover it up and pretend like we haven't had a story. We're fresh. No story here. But it's like, no, claim your story. We all have a story. Don't hide from your story. But when you're trying to hide and make it look like, everything's perfect, then I don't know. As I know that is a thing to lots of women, is like, cover up all of the imperfections on your face. But I don't know. When I was a teenager and I had that friend, I've talked about this before, but when I had a friend, Kayla, and she wore tons of makeup, and she had a bad complexion, and I think she tried to cover it up with wearing tons of makeup. So anyway, she got me wearing makeup, and I had a bad complexion, but it got way worse. Makeup caused it way more problems. And so I went off the makeup. When I went off the makeup, I had to like dry out all my face and all the blemishes all over it. And so it was embarrassing because you couldn't hide it. And then my face kept breaking out there for a while. I remember I had a bad complexion in school. It was just like, there's nothing you could do about it. You had to still go to school. It didn't matter if you just fucking sit right here. It didn't matter if you had someone here. It didn't matter. And so you just had to get over it. You had to be able to walk through life, knowing that people were looking at your zits as you're walking. What I mean? You just had to be like, oh, well, what you gonna do? And but that's where you gain strength, and that's where people try and protect themselves. But you gain strength by having to do stuff like that. And so certain things don't bother you, there's women who won't go out of their house without makeup. There's just women who will get up in the morning before everybody else gets up and puts their makeup on, so nobody ever sees them without makeup. Like, there's people who go extreme in everything. But to me, it's a way more of just accepting yourself and accept this, accept that. And it's a journey. Like, I was working on accepting my face, but the makeup, the alternative to me was bad. And so it was like, well, I kind of stuck. But then also, I lived in Southern California for a while where lots of girls didn't wear makeup when I was there. Like, I don't know now. Now, if people are more putting on more makeup or whatever, or just getting tons of plastic surgery or whatever. But anyways, but back then it was like beach girls and stuff. And so did not wear makeup. So anyways, I think anytime you're doing certain things, and you're around people that do that, but still, if I moved to Dallas, and when I was a kid growing up, all the women wore makeup. They were like very, not like Tammy Faye extreme, but Southern women, fix themselves up and took pride and did their hair up and did their makeup up and all of that stuff, and would cook for you. There was like a whole phenomenon around the southern ladies back then, and so if I went into that group, I would still stay the same. I wouldn't go, because I've been in those. I've been in these different situations where everybody's wearing makeup, and I still am not going to wear it. I don't care. But I think it has to do with back where, I went through a period of time where I was uncomfortable, and it was still like, well, it's just the way it is. You still got to go, continue to live. But if everybody built themselves up, baby steps, and they would be able to be comfortable to just show themselves, to reveal themselves, to not be like that they had to be better than they are. They have to be different. Ooh, which, remember what I talked about with the filters a long while ago? I said that they're going to become super uncomfortable. People are going to start seeing that they create insecurities and stuff. Now I've seen all these girls like crying about them. Like, it makes me so insecure. I will just go on and I just can't help myself, I'll start going through the filters, and then when I'm finished, I just feel like I'm so ugly. And that's what it's trying to do. That's what it's meant to do. And that's why you got to stay off of them. And then there's other girls that have figured that out. And so they're trying to talk to the other girls and telling them, you're beautiful no matter what. You're beautiful and stuff. So, but I knew that was going to start. Because everything is. People are going to just become more and more uncomfortable, more and more uncomfortable. Whatever you were doing that was not good for you, that you were just like, okay with it, then it's going to become more and more uncomfortable. Everything. And people are losing it more and more too. People are losing it over every little thing. I can't even believe how many different videos and stuff I've seen of talking about that people are losing it. But it's, the vibration. It's the world is going to become very uncomfortable, and so that's why you got to be raising your vibration. But there's a whole bunch of people who aren't, and they had no idea. But that's why the universe is going to give them a sign. It's going to give them a signal. It's going to give like the bat light's going to come on. Something's going to happen. It's going to be like, oh. But some people are going to be coming from a very dark place and have a lot of work to do. And that, to me, is why we're going into this big healing time here. But everybody has to see this stuff. We have to go through some different traumas and stuff. And there's going to be more, and there's going to be big ones. There's going to be really bad stuff that's going to happen. And by all appearances, it's, horrible, and it's the end and all that stuff. But really, it's part of the show. It's part of what we came in here for. There's going to be a lot of people leaving, and then there's the people staying. It is like, it's a direction. And even all the people staying, I don't necessarily, because I don't know that there's not going to be more things that are going to take out huge amounts of people, but they are still wanted their soul's still here for the experience, whatever their experience is. So you can't just necessarily say that every single person who suddenly wakes up is going to be able to heal themselves all the way. And because it's going to be a lot of healing to get like there's every reality and every realm in between. You don't have to get to the one where you can be accepting of people and loving and all that. I heard this thing yesterday, and it was something about talking about God, my God, or something. And I was thinking about, it always trips me out is how these people worship this God, this a creator, created everything, but doesn't love his creation and is particular over a lot of things, and is able to just toss his creation aside, at a moment's notice, doesn't give a shit, and that they worship that. But I think it's more out of fear. But to me, I was like, well, I'm not going to worship that God. I think it's God that's, y'all are worshiping. It's kind of a dick, man. And so I was thinking about yesterday, if I was going to worship a God, if I was going to worship some God, I would say it would be the God of love. I would say, yeah, love is my God. That is the expression that I would worship, because that is, it's like it's encompassing of peace. And I think most of us have never really experienced true love. I think we've experienced what forced love, something we were trying to force, something we were trying to create. We want this experience, we want this idea. And I wonder even if all the programming and stuff wasn't always putting us in the wrong direction, always, chasing outside of ourselves to try and find this love, this acceptance, when really it was always inside of us. Inside of us was where we needed to go to find the love and acceptance, because when you're always looking outside of yourself, you're never good enough. You're always not meeting someone's standards. And so it's like a position of defeat. It's like taking a knee to another soul to be able to say, like, I'm not good enough because you don't like me. And it's like, but, all the different souls have different things they're here to learn. It's not like you're bad if you, and I'm itchy all the motherfucking time. It's not like you're bad. Whatever you go through doesn't mean you're bad, doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means that's what your experience is, that there's lessons behind it, that there's a purpose behind whatever you're going through. So you have to look for the deeper meaning, the purpose behind what you're going through. What would you be learning from this? What would you be trying? And always when you're trying to figure it out is you got to go towards you. Not what am I here to teach that person so they stop being this way. No, it's what I need to see so I can stop being affected by this stuff, and learning how to, care about your opinion, value yourself, and not, riding on the coattails of somebody else. And so so when you're trying to figure out like your stuff, I always go into yourself. Like, why is this affecting me? Why is this bothering me? Why did I do it like that? Why did I do it like this? Why couldn't I see that? Why could I see that? You just always looking at yourself, trying to understand yourself, because that's a full-time job. And I know that the habit that we have been created for us, or we created, is trying to fix everybody else. If we can fix everybody else, then our life will be okay because they won't bother us. But we got to look at ourselves and see, like, why am I bothered by you? Why am I bothered by you? Why does that bother me? Like, because you can't fix the world to make it stop bothering you, but you can fix yourself and quit being influenced or affected by every little fucking thing. And that is your evolution to self. That is your emotional maturing. That is you handling things. And then always looking at the deeper meanings and stuff. Because that really was like, I mean, it may seem so simple, but when I saw it all of a sudden, it was just like, oh my gosh. Because I know a lot of people who fill their space, not just my mom. I mean, her aunt, my aunt, I was there. There's lots of people who fill their space, fill their couch with pillows, they fill their tables with decor, they just close their space in, because when you're sitting there and it's open, then it just gives you that feeling of loneliness, of sadness. When you fill it with your things, you look around like, oh, I love that, I love that, I love that. And so it starts giving you structure. It starts giving you a perception where you feel better, and then you can be all consumed, adding more and more and more and more and more, and closing yourself into a smaller space and smaller space. And you know, I've seen those shows before with the hoarders, and they'll bring in a psychologist or something trying to figure out, like, but I think it is an emotional, it's an emotional kind of way to make you feel less alone. Your space is closed in, there's things all around you, so you don't feel so alone, you don't feel so lonely. And but these are all the things, like, we need to look at them deeper, because then it's like, well, if I'm closing in my space, and some people, like, I mean, there's lots of videos, like, over the last few years, of people, you know, dying in their homes, and some of them dying in the hospital, and family going and then to their house and stuff, and neighbors haven't seen them or people haven't seen them, and then they go into their house and nobody's been in there in years and stuff, and it's just like hoarder house. It's just closed in, and like burying themselves with stuff, like suffocating themselves with stuff. And but so when you are creating, however you're creating your space, it's like, stop and think about it and look at it. Like, are you being resistant to the place that you are at the time? And so you refuse to participate. I'm not going to fix that. I'm not going to, I hate it here. I'm not going to do that. So then you don't participate in what it is that you're there to experience, unless that it was what you are there to experience, is seeing this side of yourself, because that's holds value too. Always seeing different sides of yourself. But when you see different sides of yourself, what do you want to do with them? Like, I think you want to manage them. You want to fine tune them or something. So, anyways, but being able to look into the different sides of yourself, and confirmation, see yourself in more depth, and so think of it in a more deeper manner. And that's the part, see, that's the part to me about spirituality, living your spiritual truth, is just looking at things deeper, looking at the reason behind it, the purpose. Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Why am I doing it this way? Why am I doing it that way? And being gratitude for the lessons, even when they are sucky, because I've gone through a lot of sucky lessons. But the good part comes after. The good part comes in a lot of different forms. And so, but there's a good part. You just got to go through the bad part. And then the thing is too, is like, when you go through the bad part, some people get caught up in the bad part, and then this other side of them comes out, this mean, bitter, hateful side. Like, and I don't know, maybe that's like with his grandma. Like, how do you, I don't get it. Like, the lack of empathy and stuff, which in the Chinese, it's, well, it got like the Chinese zodiac and all that stuff, but, and I'm not sure, because it's not the zodiac thing, but it's a period of time that this is the time of the crone. And so, and it has to do with the divine feminine. It has to do with the characteristics of a female that is more seasoned. It's more, what is that called with the wine? when it becomes more better. But through our world, through our society, it was like when a woman started becoming into her own and wiser and stuff, they wanted to get rid of that. So they wanted to create division. They don't want young girls to learn from the older women because that would make them make less mistakes, because they can listen to the women who've made the mistakes and learn from them. But they wanted to create a rift so that they could keep women struggling. But this is the time, this is the era of the woman. This is the divine feminine period of time. And it isn't just like, women or whatever. It's an energy, and it's about, we're going off of the warring, hateful, power, I see it like a competitiveness. Who's stronger, who's bigger, who's, that kind of thing, the masculine energy. And so we're going off of that energy, and we're flipping into the nurturing, caring. That's why we're all going to start feeling so much love and more loved. But it's coming from us. It's coming from the world that we create, because we become loving, because we become more compassionate, more caring, and that's what we want to put out. But that's this energy that's changing into the feminine energy, into pulling in more in the balance. So it's going to go into the era of the woman, the divine feminine or whatever. But I thought it was interesting that she said it was even of the crone, is the crone in the 3 stages of life. It's the older woman is the crone. She's the one who's learned. She's lived her life and she's learned, and she carries the wisdom. And so it's going into that energy where they made older women be tossed away. I mean, it's kind of weird because we, in our society, we're like, pull Dolly Parton out and put her in fucking booty shorts, and it's like, what? Some of these things, it's like, but this is going to go more into women being more classy, being more self-love. Because when women are just out there showing all this stuff, it's like they devalue themselves. It's like you got to show your tits to get attention or something. They devalue yourself. And so we're going into the ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Women are going to be like putting more into the value of self and more into a restraint kind of behavior, of respect for themselves. And it's kind of been a free-for-all of, let's see how low we can go for a while. Like, I mean, when you got men complaining about what women are wearing to the gym, women are going like in things where it looks like they're just sitting there in their underwear. They're even in, not even just like normal underwear, but G-strings and shit. Like, when you got this going on, and women have just got themselves so low in order to find a husband. Like, but the distortion is that the men who are trying to have sex with you they're not going to want to marry you, and these women are looking for someone to love them and care about them. And they've all gotten to this point of like, who can take off the most clothes is the winner or something. And then they don't get it, but they think like their sexuality will sell. But it only sells so far, because there's still a part in men where they want, that difference between the Madonna and the whore or something. They're real attracted to one thing, but once they have finished with that, then they want something where other people look at it as respectful. And I think probably that's even a part of why so many men have had girlfriends and stuff, because they got their wife taking care of things, taking care of their home, being the, what they feel they deserve, but doesn't give them the excitement and then they get the girl to go be naughty with, sneak around and, do naughty things and stuff, then they, so that it's like they want both things. But everything is going to be changing, because and it's each person's change is what leads to the change. It's so crazy how it all goes together, because the men seeing the emptiness in behind what they're doing gives them more of a wanting better for themselves. I thought this was good, because I saw this before, but I watched it different this time. And so it's the Hitchcock and Anthony Hopkins. The other one I liked better, but then when I saw this one again, so I was seeing it different. And so, because I loved that guy, and I don't know if Anthony Hopkins knew him or something, but he kind of plays him kind of like a dick. And I didn't remember the other one being such a dick. But anyways, so the but there's this part. So Alfred Hitchcock has this longtime partner. I think they're married, but so this longtime partner that he's with, and so relationships can become so distant, and and people can pull away from each other. Resentment can cause a wedge, disappointment, expectation, people failing your expectation, so people pull apart, and then it's like they forget why they came together, and because the things start getting in the way. It's so in this one, this other writer guy, and she had been together with him at some point before, and so he comes back around. Well, she's got an emptiness. She's hanging out with him. Hitchcock can tell, so he's got his jealous streak now. And he was known for all his not philandering, but his he lived in a fantasy of flirtation or something, and he had all the Hitchcock blondes. He'd always put these beautiful actresses and stuff, and he'd get these crushes on them and stuff, and his wife would put up with that. She would put up with everywhere they go. He would get all the attention. People would look right through her. Nobody give a shit who she was. They only wanted to deal with him. And she was also a writer or something. She's also in this business, and was important on some level of editing or something. So he really liked her and respected her or whatever. But then he got all caught up in these other girls, which left her lonely and alone and feeling like she wasn't good enough, not pretty enough. So in comes his ex-boyfriend, and so they start. She just was spending time with him. They were working on a project, and she was really enjoying their time and their conversations and stuff. So Hitchcock was getting worse with his, but then he started getting super jealous and super crazy about the other. But then some things played out, and she got disappointed by the one guy, and then Hitch came in and was talking to her and telling, because he realized how much he really cared about her and how wrong he had been. So then their relationship became great. It was like and nothing, she didn't have an affair or anything, but sometimes things can come in to make you see the value of something else, to make you see the importance of something else. And so seeing that, that you could lose this person, it worked on theirs, and I know a lot of people try and manipulate that in their relationship to have the other person see their value, but you can't manipulate that. It happened for him naturally. She wasn't trying to force it. She was really, looking outside of like, her relationship was not what she wanted. And so it really did get him to look at things different, however it played out. But anyways, the way it played out in theirs, this bad thing that had happened turned their relationship into this really good relationship. And so, um, but like I said, it doesn't work that way for everybody. So it's not like, well, if my relationship's struggling, maybe if I go have an affair or pretend to have one, then that's going to draw him back into remembering why he loved me. There's too many things. There's too many resentments that build. There's too many, and you got to remember how much of this is all playing out in low vibration. It's there to teach. It's there to help you to grow. And so in a lot of the relationships that we try and make last forever are temporary. They're these transits, they're these orbits that come into your life to help you find your direction. And so it's not our happily ever after. But that's what I'm saying is, like, if that's not part of the programming, if they put it in movies, oh, well, you know, this, and this, and then you got your happily ever after. So we're all out there, okay, well, that's how you get happy. I'm going to go chase this for a while. If I can just find the right guy, if we can just get the perfect house, if we can just get the great job, you know, we'll have the best of friends, we'll have the best of clothes, we'll have the coolest cars. You know, you start putting it, thinking that this is what it's got to be. So you start chasing it, chasing this dream. But so they set it up because it's not by accident that we're all out there just getting married, getting divorced, getting married, getting divorced, getting married, getting divorced. And that everybody leaves these relationships feeling like they were abused. Everybody's been abused. But it's because we are abusing each other because we're all in this low vibration and we're not taking care of ourselves right. And we're all looking for somebody else to make us better. And then when they try, we get mad at them like, how dare you? You're broken more than me. How many fights? You know, in a real partnership where you trust the person, you should trust the things that they're your feedback and stuff. But we just go out, you know, guns ablaze, and we're going off on each other and screaming at each other. No, well, you're more broken than me. Well, you're more broken than me. And we just, you know, there's so much hatefulness. That's the low vibration. And the splitting away from the low vibration is pulling yourself free and saying, I have more value than this. I'm not spending time. I'm not that desperate that I need to have some boyfriend that's just going to be beating me down all the time. Oh, yeah, because I was watching this movie yesterday, and it was, I don't know, one of those DJ or one of those podcast people or whatever. One of the psychology ones, you know, where people call in to talk about their problems. And she would tell people to leave them and stuff. And so, of course, that blew up and became a whole big drama. But what was I telling that about? The catchphrase, but whatever. I have no idea what I was. Yesterday, after I finished too, I remembered what the other thing was that I'd gone off and forgot about, but now I can't remember that one either. But I can't remember. Anyways, how long? So, whatever on all this stuff. I'm always talking about the vibration and how to raise your vibration and how you have to see, and everybody in the low vibration is just blaming everybody else. Once you flip into standing in your own truth, in your own power, facing yourself, having boundaries, like, well, I'm not going to let this person stomp all over me. As soon as you start having boundaries and setting limitations to how people can access you, things are going to start changing in your life. And sometimes when things are changing, it won't go just good and easy. It's going to have a whole aftermath. And so that's where the healing comes in, you know. And so you have to know your value. No, it's okay to make change. It's okay to cause a rift, to create something new. And it's necessary. You don't want to be in this trap. You know, it's not a fun place to be. Everybody just in the dark beating each other down. But you can make the change to pull yourself out of that. And even though you don't have a lot of people to hang out with, because most of the people are still in there, it is the change that has to occur. So in order to create change, somebody has to take a step. And so the more people and more people that keeps taking a step of like, no, I'm not playing along with this toxic shit, these toxic relationships, these empty encounters, trying to find a partner based on what they look like or what their job is or how much money they have or whatever. And you know, it's more where you want to go towards is uh, well, I would say your connection at your soul level, but you're going to feel the connection in the dark too, because that's what got me. It's like I thought this, you know, the people would come into my life and I would think, oh, this is a soulmate, so a soulmate is going to be good for me. Well, I didn't realize that sometimes they're teaching you through a different way of how to be good, how to make things better for yourself, because they're going to make you, they're going to be pushing in. And that's like what Donald does. It's like pushing in. So everything about this stuff that's going on is about getting us to push forward. And so it's like pushing in on us to keep us going in a direction. I'm not surprised at all that, you know, they make Donald and Elon like this, and then the peer group he couldn't drag them with him because there was so much anti-Donald, and so then he has to fall away like, yeah, he's a real dick, isn't he? Fall back, so go back to these ones. And then the next thing that will pull, it will pull more, but it maybe is going to pull them without them even realizing. Because I heard somebody saying, like, right now he's got all these people who are all on board because what the riff is supposedly bullshit, that Elon wants more control over these billions of dollars. Stop the spending. And because that's good for us, because he's exposing the criminal shit that's going on in politics. So then they're making like, well, Donald now is pulling the plug. Like, no, we don't want any more of that. And so the people who are supporting the other one is in support of the money being exposed and being changed. But see, they were resistant to that because that's what Donald wanted. But now that it's become a riff and Elon wants it, but Donald doesn't, now they're all on board. So see, they can pull them in without them realizing. So full speed ahead, and then some other things will happen. I don't know that they're going to try and make a big clash because they want the thing they're trying to do is wake people up, get them on board, get them on thinking straight for themselves, seeing, because right now they're just a product of their environment. It's you become an extension of what you listen to, who you listen to. And that's why you got to pay attention. You know, are they being jerks? Are they being rude? Because you need to notice, because it's not okay. You know, just because there's 6 of them doing it together and all laughing and playing little songs with it and shit like that, that doesn't mean it's okay. You have to know in your heart of hearts, it's not okay to be mean to other people, to hurt people's feelings, to say mean things about people, especially publicly. I mean, they were putting this girl's picture up, like, on the thing, and just making so much fun of her. You know, the whole thing, whatever their whole jokes thing on the whale and whale hunter and all that stuff, it's like, that's fucking rude. Like, none of you guys, I mean, we could find a whole bunch of girls that would make fun of you guys. That would be talking mad shit on what y'all look like, too. So don't forget, like, you can always round up somebody who's going to roast you just as hard. Not everybody's cup of tea. Like, it's very subjective. And when you have a platform and you use it to create hate and division and bitterness and, you know, cruelty, then some of these platforms are going to be tipping over because they weren't used properly. And they got caught up in ego and, you know, oh, look, I'm so funny. Well, it's not funny, really, when you're using somebody else's, you know, it's their expense, the laughs are. That's not funny. That's mean. And So, I mean, but there's one thing too, when you look at things in a funny way, you're always going to think, you see things in a different way. You see them in a funny way, but that, uh, because I can laugh about things, and say, but that's just cruelty. But that's also the spectrum where everybody's going to find, where do you fall on the spectrum? And, but I think the majority of us don't want to be made fun of. The majority of us don't want to be made fun of publicly. And when we see somebody doing it to somebody else, there's been an experience where, at least it's not me, but it's going to go into, that's not right. If it was me, that would be painful. Like, our pain, our empathy, that's how empathy and compassion works, is you start seeing it through other people's eyes and seeing like, well, that's not nice. And so it's us making the shift. We're the ones who are going to decide who falls and who rises. And we will, and so people who are putting out certain energies, I just say, they're on the cutting board, they're on the chopping block. So we'll see how things continue to play out, but be aware of what, like I say, be aware of the energy that is we're going towards. That's the one you want to build into. That's the one that you want to put your time and energy and effort towards. This one that is falling apart, this is the one you're gonna run from it, and see as you're running what is holding you back, because those are the things you gotta let go of, the things that are holding on to you, and it's weird stuff, I mean, I don't think that those guys know. I mean, it's kind of been a part of our society for a long time, with certain women who could be made fun of, and it was accepted. And that's the time of the crone, to see, is where they made it, older women were discardable. They had no value. And then creating so much attention with them and stuff, and then getting them to all lower their standards, like where you have like these older women who try and value themselves through sex and stuff like that. And which that's more of a young girl's thing, trying to find themselves, not an older woman who has learned and grown. But in a broken world, you do have a lot of women out there who think like, well, you have to pretend to be young. You have to be young in order to have value. No, you just need to value yourself. And if nobody around you is giving you the value you want, then, your circle gets smaller. But some people adapt because they're desperate to have somebody around. They're desperate to be with people and stuff, so they'll devalue themselves. But really, it's the better way to go is to just make your circle smaller and smaller. But that's how the shift will go, though, because the circles will get smaller. People will value themselves. It'll get smaller. They'll end up being alone for a while, but then we're going to have that shift where then everybody's going to be on the other side. And so then there's going to be a filling in of the party. The room will begin to fill, but it's going to be a better energy. So you have to break free from the other energy. You have to let it go for the other to come in. Just like what I was saying, when creating your space, when you are in a place and you have the opportunity to create a space or to pout about where you're at in life. And so many people were like, well, I'm not going to fix this place. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not. But that it creates a resistance. And that will keep you in that space until you get to the point of being in the groove of what you're there to go through or what you're there to learn. And it has, and then I think then you're pulled out of that space into the next thing. Once you complete the thing, it's like life is about these little times in space, these windows of opportunity of experience, and everything else is just the in-between. So this is a chapter, the garage days, the living as a dog, the living in the doghouse, whatever. It's a chapter in a story, and it's not a forever, it's a period of time. And so and it has things that's, I don't know, it's filling up way more than I thought it was going to fill up. It's so crazy because there were so many years I had been healing. And so you think, I can tell, I definitely can tell the benefits of all the healing I've done, but there's always a reason why you are where you're at. And it's just so trippy because you don't always know the reason until you get past it. So anyways, it's interesting. But I did see that yesterday. I was like, oh my God, that will be something. Because when I leave in that space, it will be like a vacuum of all of a sudden all of that stuff will be gone and it will seem so empty. And then it will be like, will she let her space be empty? Or will she try and fill it up? Because that is an artificial filling your heart, filling your soul by filling your space. So trippy how things are, how they work. But then if you're healed, then you can live with that open space and it can feel good. And because that's one thing, like when I've been here and I've been like organizing and opening space, like organizing her stuff, because I don't know, a lot of people in their garage, they just go pile stuff and pile stuff. So I've been, stacking things and putting things together. If there's 3 of those and 2 of them over here, I put them on the same, put them in together and stuff. So making it more condensed or something, which opens up more space too. And so it gives a lot more walking space to me, just like moving that big pallet back with all those things. It opened up like 3 or 4, not 3 or 4 feet. Like maybe 2 feet, 2 more feet of space, maybe 1.5 feet, whatever. It opened up more space. To me, the more open space, it feels good. Like, oh God, open space feels so good. But to others, it can feel like, oh, I gotta put something there. I need to put something there because there's a space. And I swear to God, when I look back on myself in some of my worst times, I was definitely, there had to be space. If there was an open space, well, I got to put something there. And I swear part of my kids' lessons towards me has been like, why do you have to put so much stuff? Why do you, have some open space? Especially my daughter, who went through the GATE program, who is more, she went through a big period of time of being a minimalist. I think she's being not so much a minimalist now, but she did give more of a counter to that space situation and filling in all of your space, putting so much stuff. And so then it gives me something to go in and think about. So much about things that where I get more information is the thinking about something. It's always been like that. Like I'll be thinking about something and then it's like this epiphany, this thing. I'm told this or I'm told that. And so, or shown this or shown that. So that's why I'm always like, you got to be asking the questions. You got to be thinking about things, not just trying to survive in the world, but considering things, looking at things and stuff. Because that's where you'll get your insights, your epiphanies, your communication. It's like it opens the door to a communication outside of yourself. So anyways, there's all sorts of stuff like, insights and stuff. And I think people get insights and whatever, downloads or whatever, then they just don't realize like that's the communication. You're in communication with your guide, your higher self or whatever. That kind is the type of in expansion. But then also, I would say it's not just cut and dried. It's not just a set one thing. Because if you are surrounded and engulfed with a lot of dark energy, they can trick you. They can make you think that you're getting some kind of an insight and stuff. Make you think like, but you got to look in deeper. Just look in deeper to things. Don't just, like this spiritual guy. Oh, God told me I got to take a third and knock them both up. It's like, God's not telling you shit, dude. God didn't tell you that. And I don't know what kind of God are we going to worship is out there telling us shit like that. Like, what? That, whatever. Whatever. It's all going to play out. Everything is going to play out. You know, everybody will see for themselves. And I believe we're getting closer and closer to the big reveal. Whatever. There's going to continue to be these things going on. These things, if you're too hung up on it and too caught up in it, it's going to seem like a lot of drama in this movie. But you got to remember what all the dramas in regards to is trying to get people to wake up, think for themselves, to to just wake up out of this trap, you know, is that they've got people trapped, they've got people distorted, that people aren't their true selves. So, anyways, just rattle and rattle. I think I've talked plenty long. Fuck. I swear to God, goddamn poisons. Because that's why I think everything is fucking poisonous. So, that's what we got going with that. And I feel so certain that the tooth is so sensitive just because it's got so much new tissue now. It's all just tender and built up and built up. But man, it sucks because this was my chewing side. Because this side was already fucked up by the dentist. Now this side is, which you could even say it's fucked up by the dentist too, because, I mean, he said that silver's too strong for our teeth, and that it breaks, the tooth will break before the silver, and so, whatever. But I know also, you know, I wasn't dealing with that cavity, because I didn't want to deal with the other things, so whatever. But it's broken, and it's healing, and it's sensitive, so it's very sensitive, and, but I still don't think it's any kind of infection, or if there is any kind of a little infection, then, you know, I would probably have a whole bunch of them in there, and so they all have to heal anyways. So, anyways, seems like that there was some more stuff I was going to say, but I'm freaking starving, and I want to go make another cup of tea and go eat some cookies. My stomach's growling. But, oh yeah, another thing too was when I made all the food before I left. Today is, I'm using the last meal of that. This whole time I haven't had to make any food. So today I've got to make food. But, man, all that lasted that whole time. I think I'm going to do that again. Just spend a couple days I used to do that all the time back before, it was like right after, my husband and I split. So right after my dark night thing, and I was making the dogs food, I'd make these huge batches of food, put them all in the freezer and the fridge, and then I wouldn't have to make food for a week. And then I got out of that habit for a while, because then I was just making it constant, because still I eat so fucking much. But somehow I managed it with that. I think I gotta make like 3 soups in one day or something. So anyways, I might do that again though. We'll see. We'll see where the energy is taking us, taking me, because anything can happen, anything. And just because you make a home sweet home in a garage doesn't mean that that is where you are going to stay. That doesn't mean it's like, well, now I guess I'm stuck here. No. But I do think that coming into the energy of gratitude and making the best of things and stuff is the energy that moves you through things. The more you resist, the more you hold yourself back. So go with the flow and go with the lessons. Don't get caught up in the dramas and the bullshit and stuff. And, you know, just go with the flow in life. I'm telling you, it's the flow. It's the just going in and relaxing, letting things happen, and not getting too caught up, seeing the purpose behind it, especially when things are hard. See that there's a reason for it. There's a purpose for it. Main thing, though, I'm telling you, everything is trying to show you is learning how to love yourself, because our world is built on people that hate themselves, and they hate themselves so much they gotta hate everybody else. And then it even goes darker, where people think that hurting 1-year-olds is a good idea. So the which it's not. Like, I can't stress it enough. And it's not just like there's God up there watching and he's going to get pissed if you don't care about his children. But it's an energy. It's a energy of caring, of respect towards what is life, what is living, what is. So, anyways, I'm just not going to get started again. Just remember, learning how to love yourself, learning how to love everybody else, and learning how to have the day you want to have. It's totally up to you. So, anyways, I would work on that. And then, but I'll talk about it again tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.